Hi there. Today we are doing lesson 60. Can you believe it? Finding a fraction to complete a whole. That is what our focus is today, is how to find a fraction to complete a whole. Let's go ahead and get started. Remember, at the top of your paper, you want to write lesson 60 and notes, and then we're going to start there and move on. All right, go ahead and work through your Power Up Mental Math. If you need to pause the video, you can do that. Remember to write neatly, write down the side of your paper. Some of you are still not following that direction, and I'm not sure why. It's not that difficult. So A and your answer, B and your answer, so on and so forth, all the way down through letter H. When you're done, push play, and we will keep on going. All right, welcome back. Let's keep going. Power up problem solving. All right, let's move this down here so you can see the problem. Danica's lacrosse team plays 15 games every season. Last season, the team won only half as many games as they won this season. This season, the team won twice as many games as they lost. What was the team's win-loss record this season, and what was the team's win-loss record last season? Wow, there is a lot of information in that word problem. So remember that the first step when we do problem solving is to understand the problem. So I don't know about you, but I need to stop and reread that problem again. And I want to pick up on some key information. So let's go ahead and reread this again closely now that we know what we're looking for. Danica's lacrosse team plays 15 games every season. Last season, oh, we need to make a copy real quick here. Not sure why it does that in the middle. Just hang on with me here. And we'll come right back to where we were. All right, let's skip down. All right, here we go. Danica's lacrosse team plays 15 games every season. Okay, so that's our total number of games that could be won or lost. Last season, the team won only half as many games as they won this season. Okay, so only half as many seems like an important amount of information, but we don't really know how many they won yet this season, so we don't know what half as many is. This season, the team won twice as many, also sounds important, twice as many as they lost. My screen's doing all sorts of fun things today. As they lost. Okay, so they lost. If they lost 2, then they won twice as many, so they won 4. But that does not equal up to 15, so we still don't know anything. And what was the team's win-loss record this season? What was the team's win-loss record last season? Okay, so that's what we're trying to figure out, is what the team's win-loss record is this season and win-loss record last season. So we need to find out 2 things. All right. So what kind of problem-solving strategy could we use to solve this problem? Because first we understand, we just did that. Now we need a plan, and our plan is going to be that we could guess and check. I know that doesn't sound like a plan, but it really is. We're going to guess and check the number of win-losses, and we're going to use logical reasoning, because logical reasoning tells us that the sum of the wins and losses is going to be equal to 15 games, which is the only number that we were given to work with. Okay? So if we're going to do that, the number of wins will be greater than the number of losses, right? Because we know that the won twice as many as they lost. So the wins have to be greater than the losses. So let's make a little note here to ourselves that win has to be greater than losses. Okay, so we remember that. All right. For the number of wins, we could try guessing. Let's start with 9. All right, so if we guessed 9, let me switch over here to a text box. And we'll get this here. All right, so let's guess 9. All right, and let's say that would mean that the team lost 15 minus 9. Okay, that would mean that the team lost 15 minus 9 because we say they're winning 9. So what's 15 minus 9? That would be 6 games that they lost. So let's put an L there. And we're going to say 9 games that they won. So we'll put a W there. Okay, now let's see if that works. You could try checking by asking, is 9 twice as many as 6? No, it is not, because twice as many as 6 would be 12. All right. So we need to try another guess for the number of wins. Let's go ahead and let's try 10. Okay, so 15 minus 10 would give us 5 losses. Now, is 10 twice as many as 5? Yes, it is. Yay! This would mean that the team lost 5 games and they won 10 games. All right. So, we know that they lost 5, they won 10. Now, what was that was this season? What was their win-loss record last season? We also have to find out. And up here it tells us the team won only half as many games as they won this season. Okay, so we saw that they won 10 this season. So last season, that means they would have won 5. And they would have lost how many? They would have had to lose 10, because we know that our total needs to equal 15 games, right? All right. So we just use some logical reasoning and some guess and check, and that's how we figured that one out. All right, and we can see our answer is reasonable because we did all of our math here and we just checked that it equals up to 15. All right, good job. Okay, our new concept for today, let me make this a little bit up here. Okay. Sometimes we are given one part of a whole, and we need to know what the other part of the whole is. Consider this word problem. 1/3 of the students are girls. What fraction of the students are boys? So in this word problem, we are not given the whole picture. We are only given just a little bit of the picture. In fact, we're only given 1/3 of the picture. So we're going to go back to a skill that we learned before, which is to draw a diagram. All right, and we are going to use rectangles for today. And you can use a different shape if you want to, but we know that if we're dealing in a whole, like we talked about yesterday, we're going to pretend this is even here. Okay, and the whole, we would need 3 parts because we know 1/3 is girls, and we want to find out the whole amount and the fraction and the boys. So we're going to put 1/3 is girls, and we're just going to go ahead and we will color 1/3 here pink for the girls. Okay, that's 1/3. And then how many thirds, how much is left to find the boys? We have 2/3 left. Okay, so it's not too difficult, but we need to remember what we learned yesterday is that if 3/3 equals 1 whole, so we need to start with thirds. and then figure out how much we're missing, okay? Let's move on and see how we do with this one. Tay found that commercials make up 1/6 of TV airtime. What fraction of TV airtime is not commercials? So this is the same idea, except now we are no longer saying that 3/3 is 1. Now we're saying 6/6 is 1. So we need to have a shape that is divided into 6 equal spots. Okay, and I'm going to use a rectangle again just because it's easier on here to do rectangles. And I'm going to divide it as close as I can to even without using a ruler into 6 equal parts. So there's 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to have to add down here one more rectangle because I ran out of space. Okay, so there's my 6 equal spots, and it says that TV commercials make up 1/6 of the airtime. So let's make the TV commercials be blue. And we know that that equals 1/6 because we have 6 parts to our whole rectangle. So then we can count and we can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, of airtime that is not commercials. Okay, that is not commercials. Let me catch up here in my that was example 1. So I should be able to look at your notes and I should see example 1 and I should see your rectangles, or if you want to use a pie shape, that's fine, whatever shape you want to use as long as it's divided up equally and you can show me how you figured that out. Okay, example 2. These are all drawn out for us. Let me make my video screen here way smaller so we can all read this together. In his science fair project, Nelson found that 6/7 of the mass of an apple is water. Which diagram below matches this information? All right, so we know that we're working over 7/7 makes a whole, right? So we know that we must have 7 spots in our whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like all of these have 7. Now it says that Nelson found 6/7 of an apple is water. So which one of these shows that 6 parts are water? Well, it's not this one because this only shows 1 part as water. This one shows 5 parts of water. This says all of the apple is water, and that would not be true because then we would not have an apple. We would have a glass of water or a mess. And so we are left with A, which has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then you should write the letter A, or in my case, I'm going to circle it, the letter A. Okay, is our answer for that example. All right, lesson practice. This is lesson practice A. It does not say A on the board, but it is A, okay? Laxmi, you have the weirdest names in this book. Laxmi has read 1/4 of her book. What fraction of her book is left to read? Okay, so let's go ahead and draw. Oh, let me get a color that will show up. Let's draw our book. We're going to draw it this way this time because it does not matter which way you're drawing. Okay, and we know 1/4, so we need to have 4 parts. 1, whoa, that's not very even, sorry about that. 2, 3, 4. Okay, hopefully your rectangles are straighter than mine. She only read 1/4. So we need to color in our 1/4. We'll color the first fourth because she probably read the first part of the book before the rest of the book. Okay, and then we can see that there are 3/4 left to read. Okay, and then if you wanted to, you could probably figure out that since there is one, when we're talking about fourths and it's divided into 4 equal parts, we know that that's also equal to 25%. So she read 25% of her book and she has 75% left. I like to think about fourths like I do dollars. So I always think of $1 and then 4 quarters. That helps me out. You might want to do the same. All right, but it does not ask us what percentage, just says what fraction is left. So that's all we need. Okay, letter B on lesson practice. 5/8 of the gymnasts were able to do a back handspring. What fraction of the gymnasts were unable to do a back handspring? Okay, now if you can do these in your head, that is fine. But it is also fine for you to take the time and draw it out. Okay, but what I would show you here is you could simply put 5/8. Okay, and we know that we are figuring out a problem with 8, so we know that 8 needs to be on the bottom. Okay, and we know that 8/8 equals our whole, because we talked about that yesterday. Remember, when a fraction, the denominator and the numerator are the same, then we have one whole. So all we're really trying to do is find this missing number. And since we are pretty smart, we know that 5 plus what number equals 8? We know that 5 plus 3 equals 8. Okay, so if you prefer to write it out that way, that is fine. Or you can draw your rectangle and do it the same way that we've been doing it and have equal parts. Okay, and have your 8 parts of your rectangle or your pie. I get 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need one more part. We know that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the 3/8 left up here. Okay, so whichever way you prefer is fine. Some people work better visually. Some people like to just know the numbers and get on with it. Either way is fine. Lesson practice C. If 3/5 of the spectators were rooting for the home team, then what fraction of the spectators were not rooting for the home team? Boo, hiss, boo, hiss. All right. Well, again, we know that 3/5. Okay, so we know we're dealing with the 5 on the bottom. And we know we're adding here to get a whole. And we know that our whole this time is going to mean 5/5. Okay, and we know that 5 is going to go on the bottom here. So we are again just trying to find out what this missing part of the fraction is, the numerator. But we know that 3 plus equals 5, or 5 minus 3 equals 2. Okay, so 2/5. We're not rooting for the home team. All right, this is not your homework. Your homework is on Moodle, so go check out your homework on Moodle and turn that in. Only turn in what it asks you to, and you are done. Great job today, and I will see you in class. Bye.